So I'm here to talk about innovation. Why not? It seems like everyone is talking about innovation these days. The world is changing quickly, and it seems that only the young, fleet of foot, and most responsive organizations will survive. COVID-19 has created conditions for disruptive change, and although our psychological need for safety seems to propel us towards a safe and secure destination, we are bombarded by stories of success around disruptive change. At the end of 2020, the year to end all years, I got a new title at Trinity Western University, a place I have worked ever since I finished graduate school at the ripe old age of 26. The new title is Vice President of Innovation, Global and Academic Partnerships. Strange title, you might say, especially at a Christian liberal arts university that aspires to become a global Christian university. So I ask myself the question, what is my role in innovation? Since coming to Trinity Western University 26 years ago, I have been involved in lots of innovation, developing new programs, new delivery styles, new campuses, new international partnerships. And during that time, Trinity Western University has changed. We now have students from over 60 countries around the world, programs delivered in 3 continents, and a collection of partners that span the globe. Whether by design or by accident, we have become a global Christian university that on all measures is innovative. So maybe my title and role is not so crazy after all. One of my favorite books from my go-to author on innovation is sitting on my nightstand, and this will be the focus of our first innovation session. It's called The Innovators Dilemma by Clayton Christensen. Now, written in 1997, The Innovators Dilemma is hardly a new book on innovation. It is, however, standard reading for anyone who aspires to become an innovator. The Innovators Dilemma is a book about how difficult innovation is within the sustaining culture of an entrenched organization. Organizational inertia is strong, and once processes are established, those processes become the reasons sustaining organizations reject the very innovation they will need to thrive in the future. A quote from Christensen's book, "The reason why great companies fail, according to Christensen, is that good management itself was the root cause. Managers played the game the way it was supposed to be played. The very decision-making and resource allocation processes that are key to the success of established companies are the very processes that reject disruptive technologies." The Innovator's Dilemma is a simple one. Do I stay or do I go? Now, this is a choice both from the innovator's perspective and from the perspective of the new disruptive entrant to the market. The very type of people who are innovative thinkers and who will be the solution-focused problem solvers that sustaining organizations need for their future, especially in difficult times like we find ourselves in with COVID-19. These are the very people who are discouraged, marginalized, and frustrated, trying to operate and justify their decisions inside sustaining established organizations. The problem is that innovators don't play by the established rules. In fact, innovators often see the existing rules as barriers to meeting the needs of future customers and clients. Innovators tend to look for smaller markets on the periphery of existing market segments that are low in risk but offer the potential of future massive opportunities. They use these low-risk markets as test labs that help advance and develop the new ideas in order to mature them in terms of quality and impact so that they will one day become large enough and the product refined enough to make a material difference in the mature market. At that point, the new disruptive innovation has matured, such that it has the ability to displace the sustaining systems and create greater efficiency, higher profits, better services, and improved performance. Innovators in all fields, whether HR, global engagement, technology, business process, or education, need to evaluate and invest in new and immature innovative modalities with a futuristic frame of reference. The key question is, if these technologies find new customers and new markets, which may in themselves be small and insignificant today, could they mature enough to make inroads into our playing field and permanently change how, why, and when we solve the problems of our future customers? And if so, does investing in them today, at the risk of cannibalizing ourselves, make sense for the future? Hence, the Innovator's Dilemma. So the question I ask now is, what is the innovator's perspective? Now, in the story of innovation from Clayton Christensen that I just went through, there are many key characteristics of the innovator's way of thinking. And we will see this worldview play itself out over and over again in the innovation series that we're having every second Thursday at 11:10 p.m. But for now, did you see the key characteristics of disruptive innovation in the story of the Innovator's Dilemma? First, innovators see change as a necessary condition for the future. Second, innovators develop new markets that improve people's lives. Third, innovators embrace and look for opportunities to fail. In fact, they are more afraid of missing a market opportunity by being too late than they are of failing altogether. 4, innovators test in real time, in real markets, in real situations. And 5th, innovators beat to their own drum. They listen to others, but they don't live according to existing rules and structures. Existing rules were not built for future markets. So why should we expect such rules to dictate how those future markets should operate? So if innovators beat to their own drum and don't follow the established rules, how do we know if they are innovative or just plain disruptive? Are they change agents or anti-establishment chaos causers bent on breaking stuff and leaving a wake of destruction? Well, maybe this is a topic for another conversation, but there is no question that innovators sometimes do break stuff, and they do definitely disrupt the status quo. But there are rules of innovation and rules of disruption. What innovators do is this. 1, innovators solve problems. In fact, innovators see work more like a game to be played and won than actual work. They like to find creative solutions to problems that are complicated and stump other people. 2, innovators make associations between things. We call this divergent thinking. Innovators are able to draw associations between things that seem random to everyone else. They listen and pay attention to various markets and industries, and they are gifted at making connections between things that others can't or won't see. 3rd, innovators are contrarian. Innovators like to be different, and they like to spark aha moments in other people. They like to buck the trend, to do the opposite, to follow the path less traveled. Sometimes they disrupt things just to shake them up. And if you are going to work with innovatives, don't expect to follow straight lines to obvious solutions. 4th, innovators are okay with failure. In fact, they like to try things, to fail at them, to try again, to fail again. Innovators are comfortable with ambiguity and don't need certainty. They just need a problem to solve and a solution to test. When I coach baseball, I often tell the players that I coach, if you are not failing, you are not trying hard enough. Innovators use failure as a gauge to know whether they are pushing hard enough for change. Without failure, it is hard for the truly innovative person to know that they have contributed everything they can to be disruptive in defense of the future opportunity. 5, innovators are perspective takers. They like to see things from different angles, to try to understand problems from the perspective of one person and then another person and then another. Innovators like to see things from a variety of perspectives. And last, innovators build relationships through diverse networks. The Innovators DNA, written by Dyer, Gregerson, and Christensen, found that innovators have a knack for having diverse networks of people from different walks of life and different industries. Innovators often develop global networks of people who are diverse. Now, I have been asked to speak in various places around the world in higher education about what the new trends are in higher education. And it's important to understand that innovation is not about technology and new stuff. It is about markets and solving people's problems. One cannot think about innovation without asking the question, what new market will be created or what problem will be solved? So for us in higher education, the question we need to ask ourselves is, who is in a market that wants what we deliver but can't currently access that product? What is the job that they need done? And what can I reasonably change about my current policies, systems, and structures to solve that problem for that new market? Sounds so simple, but it is so complicated. My experience tells me that universities are not the innovative incubation centers of the world. Rather, universities like deeply entrenched structures, policy-driven decision-making, territorial control systems, and consensus. These characteristics, to be frank, are innovation killers. Innovators in higher education will need to look for future markets and to test new products and delivery systems and services. What I believe we will see in the future is education geared at the international, adult, and distributed market of learners worldwide using creative and innovative systems. Increases in collaboration between universities around the world will provide greater access and support. For now, I will use an acronym for how we need to think about innovation in higher education today, and the acronym is FAIR. Universities of the future need to become more fair, flexible, accessible, informed, and responsive to the markets we are working within. As we get ready to wrap this first innovation session up, let me say that institutions of higher education need to get ready for disruption. Steve Jobs is famously quoted for saying that innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. And as we look into the future, it is my hope and prayer that thinking about positive change, disruption, and new opportunities will overwhelm your fear of losing something from your past that gives you a sense of comfort and security. In the world of higher education, we are responsible for cultivating and equipping the next generation of leaders who will forge the future. This is a great opportunity and a great responsibility. Let us not be afraid of how the world might change for us, but let us be emboldened by the hope of change that this next generation of leaders will make in the world and the role we get to play in their development. Disruptive change has always been part of human society. Let us not try to stop the disruption, as if there was something special about what we are protecting. But let us decide collectively to play a role in the change that will occur for a better world and a brighter future. Thank you.